Tianqing Lake in S Province has clear water and is a vast area of nearly 10 square kilometers. It is connected to the Yan River in the north and White Crane Mountain in the west. The lakeside is covered with shallow grasses, peach willows, and begonias, and there are also camphor, nan, iron, ginkgo, and many different types of trees. The environment is quiet and it is one of the most famous scenic spots in S Province. Just to the south of Tianqing Lake, a red wall with a height of 4 man is surrounded by woods. Inside the red wall are luxurious villas. Tianqing Lake Community is the largest luxury property in the entire S Province. It is composed of luxury villas, all surrounded by electronic doors, electronic alarm systems, and electronic monitoring systems. There are on-duty patrols 24 hours a day. There are also dedicated community hospitals, supermarkets, and even a Bank of China branch specially established in the community to serve the people. Rumor has it that this community was developed and built by a large foreign real estate company that invested billions. The villas inside are very spacious and all imitate Dutch-style garden buildings. Of course, with such housing, environment and geographical location, only people who are either rich or of noble status live there. Tang Zichen drove a silver-gray sports car into the property. The electronic door of the community opened automatically, and the 4 doormen stood up straight. The sports car drove along the wide boulevard. Although it snowed heavily a few days ago, there was no snow or water on the boulevard, not even a trace of muddy dust. After driving for a few minutes, she stopped in front of the 18th villa. There were 3 buildings in total. The middle one was 4 stories high and the other 2 on either side were 2 stories high. These were obviously garages and places where servants lived. There is a large lawn in front and behind the 3 houses, which are completely surrounded by a white-painted wooden fence. It looks like a classic European medieval farm. Tang Zichen pressed the remote control, and the electronic gate of the garage opened automatically. When she drove the car in, she noticed that the garage was dark, as if the lights were broken. "En?" Tang Zichen's ears twitched. "There are 3 of you, just come out." "Pa. Pa. Pa." Suddenly, there was wave of palm hits. In an instant, all the lights in the garage were turned on, illuminating the large garage of more than 100 square meters. Not far in front of Tang Zichen's sports car, stood a young man wearing a black trench coat. This young man had a straight nose, black hair, and blue eyes. He was obviously a mixed race. He was very handsome, with a cynical chuckle on his face. When this kind of man attempts to seduce a girl, he will always succeed. The handsome man snapped his fingers, and there was a revolver in his hand. "Violent bear, evil wolf, come out. We have been exposed." The man turned the revolver quickly around his finger. At the same time, 2 other tall figures stood up from nowhere, blocking the way out of the garage, one on the left and the other on the right. Tang Zichen opened the car door and walked out. She saw another 2 other men. One was a black man, at least 1.9 to 2 meters tall. His clothes were bulging with muscles, and he projected a toughness all over his body. Another was a white man with yellow hair, wearing a camouflage uniform. Although he was not as scary as the black man, he was very well proportioned. A black dagger handle was revealed at the edge of his trousers. "Oh my God, I never thought that the coach for the joint 5 mercenary companies, Black Mamba, Rattlesnake, Scorpion, BBN, Hualong, who has trained thousands of killing machines, is such a beautiful lady. Miss Tang Zichen." The mixed-race young man shrugged his shoulders, whistled, and bowed gentlemanly towards Tang Zichen. "Let me introduce myself. My codename is Godly Fox. My friends in the killer world have given me another nickname, Death's Bullet. Because the revolver in my hand, every bullet it shoots takes away a soul. My real name is John Maravis. But since I am in China, I naturally have to use a Chinese name. My Chinese name is Yang Yingming. How about it, Miss Tang Zichen? My Chinese name is not bad, right?" Yang Yingming was polite, as if he was inviting a beautiful woman to dance at a cocktail party. "This black gentleman is Violent Bear. He once killed an adult polar bear with his bare hands. and killed more than 10 people by bursting their head with his kicks in the New York underground boxing scene. He also killed another 30 by twisting their necks. This white man's code name is Evil Wolf. What he is best at is slicing the enemy's throat with a dagger silently. Anybody who is sliced can't make a sound. Are you all from CIA? Tang Zichen remained motionless. No, no, no. Yang Yingming shook his head and smiled. We are from another organization, but the CIA spent a lot of money to invite us. Miss Tang's organization interfered with U.S. military operations in Africa. As a high-ranking member of your organization, naturally you will not be able to avoid scrutiny. Do you think that everything will be fine if you are here in China? As far as we know, Miss Tang's organization has no affiliations with the Chinese mainland. How about it? Miss Tang, please come with us. We will secretly escort you to somewhere by the sea and then send you on a boat into CIA custody. Miss Tang, it's best not to resist. My guns are very quick and I really don't want my bullets to be tainted by the blood of such a beautiful lady. Godly fox. Stop talking. Let's do it. Evil Wolf roared in English. He seemed to be a little impatient. Together with Violent Bear, they circled forward. In an instant, Tang Zichen moved. Evil Wolf and Violent Bear were masters who had experienced hundreds of battles and ended hundreds of lives. Immediately they felt the movement. Evil Wolf showed his wolf-like agility. With a knife in hand, he suddenly approached and pounced towards Tang Zichen, slashing at her neck artery. Tang Zichen tilted her head slightly, letting the knife hit her shoulder. Evil Wolf is a specially trained killing machine and has enormous strength. Even if it's a cut to the shoulder, this simple attack can detach and break the shoulder joint. However, Tang Zichen, who was hit, behaved as if nothing had happened and instead bumped her shoulders. Dark Force Release. Immediately, there was a hint of pain on Evil Wolf's face, as if his hand had been electrocuted. His whole body stiffened for half a second, as if in a state of slight paralysis. Tang Zichen seized the opportunity and inched forward, swinging her arm violently. This is the forward step, carry block bash move from the Tai Chi style. Tang Zichen's clothes were full of air, bringing out a loud crisp sound of firecrackers suddenly exploding. This carry block bash move was like a stick sweeping across, hitting Evil Wolf in the chest. Evil Wolf's nearly 200 caddy body was blown away like a cannonball and slammed against the wall of the garage. His body stuck on the wall for 2 to 3 seconds before slowly sliding down like a painting. When he fell, the pupils in his eyes were dilated and his mouth was open, like a fish out of water struggling to breathe. Roar! In the blink of an eye, Evil Wolf was beaten. Violent Bear reacted immediately. Without blinking, he opened his arms and hugged Tang Zichen like a bear, trying to crush her body. He wanted to lock Tang Zichen in a bear hug and using his great strength render her unconscious. His body was terrifyingly strong, and any simple blow to it would simply be like that of a mosquito bite. He once used this move to crush the bones of 5 opponents till they died. Tang Zichen was suddenly restrained. She squatted down, rotated her waist, swung her whole body, and stretched out her hands sharply. It was the turning back palm from the 8 trigram palms. It uses the force of throwing, pa. The 200 caddy body of Violent Bear was thrown out like a scarecrow and fell to the ground. Pew, pew, pew. Then, there was a series of continuous subtle gunshots. There was a silencer on the gun. Tang Zichen kept evading, her steps were like skating on ice. When she stopped, there was a bloody wound on her shoulder. The bright red blood immediately dyed her white clothes red. Yang Yingming fired. Tang Zichen dodged 3 shots and was hit by 1. Hitting people like hanging a painting. Yang Yingming thought, the moment he saw Evil Wolf been smashed against the wall and stuck to it. He immediately fired his gun. Seeing a bullet hit Tang Zichen, he felt slightly relieved. You actually mastered Kung Fu to the transformation force realm, surpassing the realms of light force and dark force. You can even dodge my 3 shots. Yang Yingming's marksmanship has been specially and strictly trained, and he is a first-rate sniper. He did not expect Tang Zichen to be able to dodge 3 of his shots in a row. Despite getting shot, Tang Zichen's face remained expressionless. Suddenly she shrugged her shoulders again and a bloody bullet was ejected from her wound using the strength of her muscles. The bullet had penetrated deeply into the flesh and required surgery to remove it. But now, Tang Zichen just shrugged her shoulders and discarded the bullet like a fly. The bleeding also miraculously stopped. Tang Zichen was shot, but she was not affected at all. Taking a sudden step and exerting force on the soles of her feet and 5 fingers, her whole body seemed to vibrate with energy. Suddenly, she was like a serpent scurrying in the grass. Serpent pulling grass is a snake-shaped body technique, one of the 12 forms from the school of form and meaning. Tang Zichen performed it to the level of perfection. When Yang Yingming saw Tang Zichen casually flicking the bullet out of her body, it was as though he had seen a ghost. You have practiced martial arts to the point of refining your bone marrows. As soon as the words came to his mouth, he moved. Tang Zichen jumped forward. Yang Yingming actually knows martial arts. He flicked his right leg and swept out, like a whip making a crisp sound. Tang Zichen didn't engage, she swayed in the serpent form, letting the leg whip brush past her face. Missing his target, Yang Yingming took advantage of the situation to bounce backwards. He was about to take out another gun to shoot, but Tang Zichen was not going to give him a chance. Squatting down and grabbing the crotch. Monkey Steel Peach. It was the killing move that Tang Zichen taught Wang Chao. Yang Yingming's senses were sharp. Before Tang Zichen could catch him, he could feel the chill in his pants. With the garage wall behind him, he had no way out. At this critical moment, Yang Yingming also squatted down, clamped his legs, protected his crotch with his hands, and moved his fingers, just in time to catch Tang Zichen's hand. Tang Zichen's other hand holding the ground under his crotch suddenly slapped, like a python's tail hitting the ground. The originally solid terrazzo floor of the garage cracked inch by inch under the touch of her palm. Many small particles broke out. Squatting down to grab sand, there was none, but Tang Zichen used her dark force to forcefully create sand. Grabbing the broken sand from the terrazzo, Tang Zichen surged forward, and a handful of sand and small stones greeted Yang Yingming's face like a rain of arrows. Yang Yingming's eyes were hit by sand and immediately he lost vision. But the instincts of a martial artist made him resist fiercely. Tang Zichen hastily made another move, dragon raising its head. Her palm in the shape of a claw, which was originally meant to grab his crotch, suddenly switched as 5 fingers came together. Like a flat poisonous snake's head, it sprang up from the abdomen and hit Yang Yingming's chin. Yang Yingming heard a gushing breeze and immediately tilted his head. Tang Zichen switched moves again, dragon raising its head turning into 2 dragons grabbing pearls, her 2 fingers poked towards Yang Yingming's eyes. Yang Yingming's eyes were poked blind, his eyeballs hung in his eye sockets like purple grapes. Blood flowed all over his face. His whole body fell to the ground. A series of bellows came from his throat. You were shot in the arm. Why aren't you affected at all? Tang Zichen looked at her wound. My martial arts have been trained into my bone marrows. That shot of yours. It's just equivalent to an ordinary person cutting themselves when peeling a fruit. I don't even need to put on a band-aid. Master Gui Yunshen said, there are 3 levels of martial arts, Light Force Realm, Dark Force Realm, and Transformation Force Realm. There are also 3 levels of strength, Bone Strengthening, Tendon Strengthening and Marrow Strengthening. Have you already reached marrow strengthening and refined your bone marrow? Tell me, how did you manage to do it? Tang Zichen knew that Yang Yingming would not be able to survive. After reaching the realm of dark force, it is necessary to use the response to sound, to use sound to vibrate and train your bone marrow. Yang Yingming's body shook, and he spoke with difficulty. What sound? Tang Zichen said 4 words, tiger leopard thunder sound. So, that's it, you, send me off. Wait, what organization are you from? How did you know that I came to China mainland? Tang Zichen asked. I'm sorry. This is business. We have the leg technique you used earlier, as well as the crotch guard to clamp the legs, Although these moves are very common, they utilize the force of Wing Chun. Who is your master? The force of your fists have reached the level of masters like Li Luoneng, Dong Hai Chuan, Yang Luchan. Even Master Qing Tinghua died after been shot. But my bullet can't even hurt you. Even if my master is here, he won't be your opponent. I won't tell you. Alas, this is what death feels like. It's a pity you only have one gun. Master Qing Tinghua died from shots from 24 guns. Tang Zichen's eyes were as dazed as smoke, and she stretched out 2 fingers and pointed at Yang Yingming's heart. Yang Yingming's whole body twitched violently, and then his breath disappeared. He is dead. Go to hell. A huge shadow rushed over from behind. The black man Violent Bear, who was thrown to the ground by Tang Zichen's turning palm, stood up at some point and quietly waited for the right opportunity to strike. He pulled out the dagger from Evil Wolf's trousers, as he looked like a leopard rushing towards an antelope ready to pounce. Without looking back, Tang Zichen suddenly stood up, raised her hands and released her force. Body turning punch, elbow strike. Crotch attack. Bah! A large dent appeared on Violent Bear's chest. Apparently his entire sternum was shattered. His entire crotch and lower body were beaten into a mess of mixed red and white flesh. His body was lifted 3 feet off, before falling back straight to the ground. He is also dead. At this point, although Evil Wolf was beaten and lost his ability to fight, he is still alive and had the ability to think. As he watched Tang Zichen approaching towards him, he tried his best to move his body. Tang Zichen patted the Evil Wolf's chest with her hand, as if giving a shot of morphine. He immediately regained consciousness. Tang Zichen was using dark force to penetrate into his pores, to stimulate his nerves. It's like an electric shock to revive a person. Tell me, what organization are you from? Why are you cooperating with the CIA? You actually lurked into mainland. Tang Zichen grabbed Evil Wolf's neck and lifted him off the ground as he struggled. She spoke fluent English. Evil Wolf closed his eyes. He knew resistance was futile in front of such a powerful person. Tang Zichen sighed slightly, then twisted her hand and snapped Evil Wolf's throat bones and trachea, dropping the body to the ground.